Hey, what's up, my uplifting life partners? This is Ron Simplified Myers. As you know, we're doing a 12 episode series on the article I came across. It was the top 12 problems in relationships according to experts. And it was the article was written by Mark Travers, and he's a psychologist, and he wrote this for Psychology Today. So what I decided to do is take all 12 of the different topics and give my own perspective. So we're actually on number 9, which is what we're going to talk about today, which is lack of effort, because the whole idea is what are the 12 things that are keeping people from intimacy inside of relationships, and then lack of effort. And folks, that's straightforward. You know if there's someone who's giving it's not giving effort inside of a relationship. I hear a lot of people with again, they like to call themselves gurus or whatever. They'll tell you what you do in a relationship. You give a little, you see how much they give, and you just keep doing that. It's like a tit for tat type of thing. I'm never going to teach you that. The reason being, I believe, like for me, I'm going to give 100% to every relationship all the time, no matter what. What will happen is depending on how you respond will determine on whether you're going to get a relationship with me. Does that make sense? But I'm not going to change who I am. Other people should not be dictating who you are because of who they are. So for me, I'm always going to say give the best you at all times, because you shouldn't be changing for others, because that's exactly what you're doing. But anyway, the lack of effort shows up in many different ways. I mean, if they're not calling, or they're not, or they tell you they're going to call, and they call 3 or 4 hours later, which some people have actually tell people to use that as a technique. I remember hearing one of the ladies who's a guru. I just laugh when I hear people say that. But anyway, um, she was telling people that I know you guys don't think it's right and that you should have to play games, but you that's just a part of relationships. And these are people that are out here giving relationship information. Just amazing to me. That is not something you have to do. You should never have to play games inside of your relationship. If so, then you have a relationship that is that old saying, what is it? It's not rock solid, it's built on quicksand. Because once I realize that you play games, think about it, folks. If you're a person that plays games, eventually I'm going to figure that out. But now I'm going to actually lose trust in you and inside the relationship, because you're showing me you can't be trusted, because you're willing to manipulate in certain instances to try to get your way, or to try to influence me, because you're not being authentic. And I'm a total believer in being authentic. Be you. You accept me as I am, or you don't. But I'm not going to play games. So anyway, bottom line, I'm not going to teach. But when a person is showing lack of effort. Lack of effort can show up in terms of compromising inside of a relationship. And for me, I'm not a person that's going. You hear all the time people say, "Well, relationships has to have sacrifice inside of it." I personally don't believe that, because sacrifice, at least for me, the way I define sacrifice, is it's a win lose. Someone has to win and someone has to lose in a sacrifice. Understand, when sacrificing takes place, people will start to keep score. Whether it's conscious or not, they'll keep score. Because the thing is, if I have to sacrifice, I'm thinking, okay, I gave you your way on this one. Okay. I lost, because remember, I'm sacrificing. I lost in this scenario. So the chances of you winning the next round, it's going to be a little tougher, because I feel like you already owe me, because I sacrificed for you. You owe me that. You guys follow me, the game that we're playing? And if we get into something else again and I lose again, now mentally, I may not say it to you and I may not even consciously understand. Now I just chalked it up. I've had 2 losses in a row. Eventually, the conversation will turn around and be like, I'm always sacrificing in this relationship. I'm the one that's always giving. You always get what you guys follow, and you've heard people have the conversations. Hopefully you haven't had to have those, and you won't. But that's what sacrificing does. I'm always believing in compromising. Compromising doesn't mean you got your way. That's the misunderstanding. People think whenever you compromise, that's why they call it sacrificing, because they feel like, well, they're gonna get what they want. I get what. No, it's compromise is just that. How do we both win? How do we both walk away? Sometimes I may not get anything that I wanted, but I feel good because I know what it does for you and the way it makes you feel because of what's going on. You see how it changed the scenario to where I found a way to make myself feel good in this scenario so that it's a compromise versus a sacrifice. Because again, if it's a sacrifice, I'm going to start keeping score. A compromise, I'm good with it. I'm not saying it with my mouth. I'm actually found a way. And I use the analogy like when Terry used to love to go shopping. She loved shopping. I didn't like shopping, but she wanted me to go with her. And I had to figure out, so that it wouldn't become a sacrifice, how can I figure out a compromise so that it works? Well, I'm a person, I love people. I love the people watch. People are funny to me. You can sit back and watch people all day. You guys probably have done it before where you can sit there and write stories. I wonder what they're talking about, or this is what they're doing or whatever. And you can play these kind of games and have a lot of fun. I can do that and I can have fun all day long. So I said, well, this is what I'll do. I'll just people watch while she's getting her shopping in. Why? Because I know she loves to shop. I know she wanted me there shopping with her because she was definitely one of those where they say the stereotype of women that love to shop, and they mean shopping, not just shopping. They go shopping. In other words, you go for a couple of hours. They found what they wanted in the first store. They put it back on the rack. You're going to go to all the other stores. Eventually, they're going to come back to the first store and get what they saw. But we still got to tour the whole facility to make sure we didn't miss nothing. But in the meantime, somewhere in that shopping, you're going to stop and have lunch. And it's like, I'm a person, again, I don't like shopping. So I'm like, let's go find what we had. Like, she know if I was looking for a shirt, I see the first shirt you see that I like, I go, good, let's go. No, that's nice. We'll come back. So I had to figure out again how I could actually make what could be a sacrifice into a compromise. I figured out, because I love watching people, then this is how I would actually enjoy something she wanted me to do and something that meant a lot to her. You guys follow me? Because again, if I didn't feel that way the whole time we're shopping, I'd be sitting there with my mouth stuck out, my arms crossed, like, are we done yet? You guys have seen people do that. Your partner has probably done that. That's because that's a sacrifice. And trust me, they are keeping score. Even if they don't consciously know it, they're keeping score. Like, you owe me. I don't ever want to be in that scenario. So how do I make this a win-win scenario? And that's what it was. So Terry goes shopping, and I'd be telling, oh man, you should have saw these people over here that was doing. You guys, I was having fun, and she'd be cracking up because she'd be like, what did they do? What did it? So we had stuff to talk about because I found a way to take what could have been a sacrifice and turned it into a compromise so that we both win. That's what compromise. Do not think compromise means you got what you wanted. Sometimes the win is the fact that they won and you excited for them. It ain't always about you. So we got to learn about compromising. But anyway, you know if you're in a relationship and the person is giving that effort. So make sure, first off, and folks, you can figure this out early in relationships. It's amazing how many people say the person changed after they got married. I've had family and friends that have told me that about their partner. Well, they changed. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, changed? That joker was like that from the day you guys met. From the day I met them, they were like that. They ain't changed. Because again, most people look at the exterior versus focusing on the person. And then as they get in a relationship, it's kind of, what was that analogy they said? When you first get with him, he interrupts you all the time, but you go, oh, that's so cute. I mean, he gets so excited when we're talking. He just wants to get in the conversation. And then eventually he's a jerk. He's annoying. All he does is interrupt. He hasn't changed. The perspective changed. So we have to pay close attention to what's going on. And so what I'm saying, if the person's not giving effort, you know, if you're the person giving all the effort in any relationship, it's a one-sided relationship, and it's not good for you to participate in that relationship. Now, you can have a conversation with them, as we talked about before. I think there's two major keys to all relationship. One is accepting people as they are, which is love. And then number two is communication. So if you want to communicate with them, which I would recommend, that's probably the best way to recommend that I feel like this relationship is a one-sided relationship. And hopefully, again, you do this during the dating stage. So if they decide they don't want to make the change, you could get out of the relationship. Don't wait till you get married. And now it's like, because I'm not a person that's going to push divorce, but I'm never, ever, as you guys have heard me say before, if you've been abused mentally or physically, I'm never going to tell you to stay. And for me, a person that's giving lack of effort in relationship is a form of mental abuse. So as you guys know, it ain't right, it ain't wrong. It's my opinion. I did want to emphasize, be careful, pay close attention to that lack of effort. And if it's you that's not giving the effort, then maybe you've already made the decision they're not the right one for you. And you need to cut them loose so that they can find a person that will appreciate them. That's the best thing you could do for them. All right. Again, as you guys know, if you're not having fun, you should be doing something else. I will talk to you on the next episode, number 10. All right. Enjoy the journey.